Item number 6. Shall the following advisory question of public policy submitted by elected petition for consideration at the annual town meeting be placed on the ballot for submission to the voters for the November 5, 2024 election? So shall the United States federal government and subordinate divisions stop giving military funding to Israel, which currently costs taxpayers $3.8 billion a year, giving Israel's global recognition as an Apartheid regime with a track record of human rights violations?
My name is Paul Myersdorf. I'd like to address why this should not appear on the November ballot. One, the federal budget is a federal issue, not local. We don't get to do line item vetoes. That's for the people we elect. We elect our congressmen, we elect our senators. They're the people that we need to address for the line item vetoes. The other thing is, this issue would not have been brought up had October 7th not happened. Israel has a right to defend itself. On October 7th, over 6,000 missiles were fired into Israel by Hamas. On October 7th, over 1,200 men, women, and children of Israeli and foreign citizenship, not soldiers, were killed by thousands of Hamas-led gunmen. Over 200 hostages were taken. And I could go into the history of Hamas, their events in terms of firing missiles and mortars into Israel. There's been many incidents. But never has there been a request to censure Hamas or other militant groups in the Middle East to stop their attacks on the citizenship of Israel. Because national and international human rights violations are not township issues. Those are the federal issues. That's why we elect our congresspeople. That's why we elect our senators. War is not clean. No war has ever been clean. There's never been a war without civilian casualties, and that's the ugly truth about war. Hamas is a terrorist organization whose goal is to dominate Israel, and Israel has the right to defend itself. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Barb Katz. There is no question that there has been way too much death and destruction in the Gaza Strip territory and the state of Israel. However, there is also no question that this issue is not a Peoria Township or state of Illinois issue. Our local state representatives are not sanctioned with the power to make or even advise on international issues. Contact your U.S. House of Representatives, contact your U.S. senators, and tell them yourselves. The U.S. House and Senate do not listen to nor abide by Illinois state proclamations. They listen to individual citizens that reside in their district as the U.S. Constitution prescribes. Therefore, the only purpose this item as a Peoria County referendum issue serves is to undermine support for the state of Israel, calling it names while ignoring the other side of the conflict, a vicious, malignant Hamas organization that has as its main goal more death and destruction to its own brothers and sisters and children to amass more publicity. If Hamas truly wanted to cease fire to save the lives of Palestinians, it would put down its arms and give back the hostages they brutally and violently stole from Israel over 6 months ago, when they, not Israel, broke the ceasefire agreement that was in place at the time. The bombing would stop immediately. Please note no to this one-sided, ineffectual, and name-calling rhetoric.
Hello, I'm David Nathan. I also did not come here intending to speak and didn't have anything prepared, but I didn't intend to speak because I did not want to contribute to the vitriol and the animosity and the division that took place the last time this topic came up in this room. Hearing people talk, as I was saying, that all they want is people to be able to give their opinion, express their feelings, get an unbiased opinion. opinion of where the public in Peoria stands on this issue, I felt I had to say something. It's well known in science that the way a question is asked significantly influences the response that's given. People who conduct polls are very much attuned to this, and depending on how you ask the question, you get the answer you want. The way this is phrased, global recognition as apartheid regime and track record of human rights violations, according to who? According to the person that wrote this, I'm just trying to put this on the ballot. This is written in a way to elicit a specific reply. It is not written in a way to get an honest answer of where the public stands. There have been monthly polls every month since the brutal Hamas attack on Israel, done by the Harvard-Harris Foundation, which is a nationally respected polling company, that have shown that voters in America by far support Israel's right to defend itself and its actions in this conflict. This question is unvetted, unverified, biased, and written in a way to actually get a response that does not reflect what the people believe, and therefore I think it has no place on a ballot in Peoria.
Next speaker, please.
Hello, my name is Mark Lang, and I agree with a lot of what you just said. This is a portion to go for. Does not speak of anything that is really what we all want, is peace. To making a claim that an apartheid regime, that is not a way to peace, and not a way to common good. This is no business being in Peoria. This is not the kind of thing we want. If this said, like some of you said, we want peace, I think we'd all say yes. Let the government determine who they fund and how they do it, but how we vote, who we vote for. But this is not a call for peace. This is calling out anger, and it is very misrepresented. So putting the right referendum to the public is important. This is not very good. This is appalling. So that's my comment, and that's what I feel.
Next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Melody Starnes, and my husband and I were somewhat having a civil discussion about the wording of this proposition, and he said that I really didn't have the right to ask you guys how you all came up with the words you used in the proposition. I don't agree. Israel does have a right to defend itself. Do I agree with what they're doing right now in Gaza? No. I do see things from my passive point of okay. But they still have a right to protect themselves. And I realize that they're going after the terrorists and not the innocent people who live in Gaza. Anti-Semitism, I know. I lived in Long Beach, California. I was 11 years old. My family was firebombed, our home, because we were Jews. Waking up in your father's arms, rushing you out of the house because the house is burning down because you're Jewish. I know how that feels. I would wish that not on anybody. I do not think that the way this is worded is appropriate, and I do not think it should be on the ballot. Thank you.
My name is Joe Watt, and I just simply would like to say, as a Christian, I've been a student of Israel since 1971. I've been there in 1992 and 2004, or 2005. And I would challenge the language of Dave Nathan that Israel has a global recognition as an apartheid regime. And because of the nature of the proposition that's on there, I don't think it belongs on the ballot. Mr. Nathan is right, and I think it should not be on the ballot. Thank you.
Hello, Shelley Epstein. I've been coming to this chamber for 50 years, even longer than Councilman Gray, if that's possible. And I believe this may be the first time, certainly one of a handful of times, that an issue of international significance has been debated. You are local elected officials, we are local people. I caution if this is put on the ballot, you will soon have before you referendums on abortion bans, on aid to Ukraine, on aid to Taiwan, on foreign aid, U.S. government payments, all over the world. I don't believe that's the role of the township government. That's not the role of the referendum power that we have. A referendum is only one way to speak, and may not be the best. Everyone has a right to address the folks who, in fact, can make policy. Congressmen, senators, letters to the editor, if newspapers exist. All sorts of ways to make your voice heard. This is not the way for this township or any township to decide. I'm not going to make a value judgment on what's going on in the Middle East. We can all agree it's terrible, we want peace, there's too many people dead. And I'm not sure that sort of complex issue is what we as a local government ought to be addressing. And so I would recommend, by the ways, all these years I've been coming here, this is the first time we get a chance to vote, so that's pretty cool. But hopefully it's the only time I get to vote on this. Because I think this is left to our own consciences and folks who can make a difference. So I recommend that no vote on this, and I hope to see you again. Thank you, Madam Moderator.
Yes.
Hello, my name is Sherry Berner. I agreed with several of the points earlier, so I won't repeat them. But as far as the language of the proposed thing for the ballot goes, if everyone would take a moment to read the proposal for item number 5, and then read the proposal for item number 6, you'll be able to see that there's a world of difference there. One is strictly a proposal for government. The other contains statements of opinion, which would be put on the ballot under the auspices of the government and put out there as a fact, rather than the perceptions of some of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair. Just like to start off with saying, I think we as trustees or elected officials have foremost duty to our constituents, particularly vulnerable groups like our Jewish American and Muslim American communities. In the last month, we've seen Islamophobic graffiti at a bus stop, and we've seen the Jewish American fraternity house graffiti. This is alarming and absolutely unacceptable. Not for everyone to think about the import of your words. Absolutely, people with pain should share their genuine emotions. I get it, or at least I try to empathize with it. But purposeful exaggeration and stirring the pot is reckless because it can stop hateful, unstable individuals. And I'm not accusing anybody here specifically of that, but it's on the tape. So I ask everyone to listen and consider other perspectives that conflict with your own. That's what I'll strive to do, especially from those two communities affected. People from outside of those communities take a backseat. Ultimately, the Israelis and Palestinians are two peoples who have to live side by side for generations to come. Now, I hope and pray our Congress and the White House will help facilitate that peace, but I wouldn't presume to know the complexity of their negotiations, and I'm not going to tell them what to do. I'm not sure ballot initiatives like this are helpful to achieve that long-lasting peace, nor are they helpful in maintaining the cohesiveness of our community, which is why I'm here. I'm afraid seeing this ballot language in November is just going to make angry people angrier. I think anyone who believes people saying that they're going to go home and just hop on the internet and do their research, track out the books, are kidding themselves. People will see that on both sides. Maybe we'll set them up. I don't think anyone brings anti-Semitic. I've heard people speak that I know personally. There are going to be people on both sides. I don't want to quote Trump. Sure. I think there's people who think here, which is what we need. But please watch your words. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Regardless of one's opinion on the actual decision of the question or the actual wording of the question, I'm a firm believer in that we have a lane to stay in, a role and responsibility in government. And I have been steadfast in my time in elected service in focusing on staying in my lane and the issues that are part of our elected responsibilities. And this is not an issue for the town and city of Peoria, it's a federal issue. We elect people at a federal level to make decisions, to receive the information, to vet those decisions, and come to a conclusion, and that's where this should lie. And those that have issue on either side of this should be calling their federal legislators and voicing those concerns. But this is not the house for that. The town and the city of Peoria is not the place to address this specific issue, and I'll be voting no. Thank you.
Seeing no more discussion, we're going to move to the vote. I have a motion to approve that this item go on the ballot in November, and I also have a second. All in favor to this question going on the ballot, please raise your cards.
So that motion fails with 67 days and 93 days.
Motion fails.
Thank you, Madam Moderator.